What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Today we are on the test server here, and we will be doing a playtest on one of the brand new champions from the Night Revenants, and it's going to be, where is she? Force Affinity. There you go. Venalicia Thrallmother. Now she has some really good base stats: 108 base speed, great HP and defense thrown in as well. Resistance and accuracy. She would like both. I mean, she does require accuracy. A little bit plain on the design, a little spiky in some interesting areas, but I think the design's a little bit plain to me. I like the little sparks on the wand here, but anyways, let's go over the kit here real quick. It's got an 81 triple hit. It's got 50% chance, fully booked at 75% chance of landing the big weekend here. So 3 hits, 75% chance. You're basically looking at very close to 100% chance of landing weekend on the A1. Triple hits, obviously very, very good as well. It's got an A2 here, 3-turn cooldown when fully booked. Full team strip before attacking. So that's really nice. When she attacks, she has a 100% chance of landing block buffs and decreased defense. Basically the same move that Ugo has, except upgraded here. It comes with a strip as well and 100% chance to land both of them. Keep in mind, she is Force Affinity, so she will have some issues landing block buffs and decreased defense against Spirit Affinity. Now, this strip ability looks like it's going to happen before she attacks, but we'll play test that, see that in action. And then her A3, Mother Knows Best, 4-turn cooldown when fully booked. Team Revive, 50% HP, 50% turn meter. If all other allies are dead, meaning she's the last one left, they revive them with 75% HP, 75% turn meter instead, and decreases the cooldown of all revived allies by 1 turn. Also increases the cooldown of all enemy skills by 2 turns. So I assume this enemy cooldown increase happens regardless if she's the last person or not. We'll have to test that as well. And then lastly, we have a passive here. Fills this champion's turn meter by 20% whenever an ally dies. Similar to Timely Intervention, the Mastery. Also brings a heal for herself of 20% of her max HP whenever an enemy under Pain Link hits her. Pain Link doesn't appear too often in the game, but she can land it herself. Places Pain Link for 2 turns on enemies who deal damage equal to 25% or more of an ally's max HP with a single hit. So not just her, anybody on your team gets 25% hit, they will get the Pain Link debuff. Now that's pretty good. Basically, whenever anybody with Pain Link hits her, it's a 20% heal. That's a big heal, so it's going to make her really, really hard to kill. Now, it's not going to protect her from fatal damage, but in long, drawn-out fights against supports, for example, this could be very, very insane. Just crazy sustain, right? But she does require accuracy to land this, so you gotta make sure she has good accuracy to basically strip, land her debuffs, and of course, land her Pain Link here. She does bring accuracy in all battles. That's something that she really needs as well, which is pretty good. Overall, her kit looks great. Great support. She also brings decreased defense and weaken and block buffs in her kit, and she brings a team revive. She has arena usage, wave usage here for this lockout ability, which is really good. She's just going to be a massive carry. Like, if you pull her early, she's huge. If you pull her late, she can definitely be useful, especially for like Hydras. If not for Hydra, I mean, you can even use her for arena, to be honest. You can use it for the strips and stuff. So let's gear her out and let's bring her into some content, and we'll see how she does. All right, guys. So this is my Venalicia here. She's pretty geared out. She's in my best Supersonic and Stone Skin setup from my Fabian. I'm gonna leave her with no blessings, no relics, and yeah, these are my total stats. We got Stone Skin and Supersonic, 357 speed, 525 accuracy here. Yeah, and relatively okay HP and defense. Now, if you were to put a relic on her, she probably would benefit a lot from the wand. Getting some HP, speed, and accuracy would be really, really nice for her. And I don't have a blessing on her. If you were to put a blessing on her, I mean, the banner could be pretty good. You definitely could bring something like Life Harvest, could be okay as well. She does have accuracy. You could go Polymorph. Polymorph is kind of dangerous nowadays in Arena. Could potentially go Lightning Cage as well, depending on the speed of your Venalicia. For me, this Venalicia is I want her to go first to get her strip off. So for her A2 to work properly, she has to go first, obviously removing the buffs from the enemy. If you were to build her out basically as, you know, a mid-game or early game player, you're basically just focusing on speed and accuracy because you want her to land her debuffs, weaken, decrease defense, block buffs, but you also want her to go pretty fast. She is a reviver. And you also want her to have a pretty good base HP because she does scale off of HP, her heal here as well, and just to keep herself alive. She does have good base HP here, so putting HP percentage everywhere in her gear is going to be really, really beneficial. For the mastery set here, I did go down to Eagle Eye. Otherwise, she's just, you know, a standard Reviver mastery set. Usually go down to Timely Intervention here. Spirit Haste is going to be pretty good, obviously, for a Reviver. And then turn meter boost here, Cycle of Revenge. I did take Arcane Celerity because she does land a bunch of debuffs, so more turn meter stuff. And then potentially some passive healing here from Shadow Heal. All right, I think those masteries are pretty self-explanatory. Like I said, if you guys are just building her out or just pulled her when you guys are brand new, like I said, just focus on speed, accuracy, and HP. So a perception set would be perfect. Pinpoint set would be perfect. She doesn't bring any kind of healing in her kit. So if you had some kind of healing set, that would work out really well too, like regeneration or immortal. That would all work out really, really well. But yeah, let's bring her out into some content and see how well he performs. All right, let's bring her out into the arena here and see how well she performs. So we're going to be using her as kind of a, you know, buff removal champion. Also softens up the waves a little bit. And then we got Terminator Boost. We have the crowd control here. And then we have our damage dealer. Let's see how well this team performs. And then we can test out some of her abilities as well. So let's go. Armans, can we CC them? Yes, we do. All right, well, all the buffs are gone. Let's see if we can strip the Duchess here, but then we will be landing the block buffs, decrease defense. Let's see. Okay, I see the resist here. So it's not the weak hit, but I see the resist. All right, let's transform. I mean, at this point, he's kind of, you know, just kind of locked out here and all that stuff. Let's see what happens here. All right, stuff's got revived. Try again. Let's test out the A1. What does the A1 look like? A1, oh, that's pretty cool. 3 lightning strikes. I think this is maybe a bad team to go up against because of the block revive here. Because we want to test out her revive as well. Let's try Cold Brews. Also, she's in a supersonic set, which could take advantage of Sci-Fi here. So let's see. I think we might go first. Do. All right, so nice. I like it. That's a lot of debuffs. Also, the block buffs is really crazy. It shuts down like Ward of the Fallen and stuff like that as well. Look at this. You see the pain link here. So whenever an enemy hits one of your allies for 20%, 25%, I believe, or more damage, then she's going to get a pain link. So that pain link's pretty cool. It's going to give her a heal every time he hits. Well, it hits her, I mean, so. All right, let's test out the revive here. Let's see how well it does. So it's going to revive everybody with 50% HP and 50% terminal. Let's see if the cooldown works. Let's see if the cooldown works without without her being the last one. It does. So the cooldown works when even when she's not the last one. It kind of makes sense because the way the text was worded, it's like a separate body of text compared to the rest. So it definitely makes sense there. Control U. All right, her A1 triple hit. Let's see how well it does against this Rotos. Might kill him. Oh, almost. Almost got him. There we go. Down he goes. Getting feared. All right. A2 again. Nope. And at this point, it's basically over. All right. That's pretty cool. We get to test out the revive there. The revive does trigger the cooldown reduction, which is really nice. All right, let's try this team here. Same thing. There's a CP on the enemy team, so maybe we can take advantage with our supersonic set. Well, we might go first here. We do. All right, R-Man's going to come in. Got triple stuns. Shut down the lockout. And then we have Venalicia here with the block buffs, decreased defense. Really nice. And at this point, that's a big damage boost, right? At this point. Okay. And triple hit. Can we kill? Nope, we can't. Yeah, at this point, it was already pretty much over, so all good there. All right, let's go here. I think Nubraze has a faster team here, so let's see her in action and take advantage of the supersonic set here. Okay, I don't go. I thought we would have there we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, so Arman's. Okay, now it's her turn. So we can do the strip. There's a lot of buffs going on. There are some protected buffs here from Sifi as well. So let's see how well this plays out for us. And not super well. A lot of a lot of protected block debuffs, so not very good for us. And we get the we didn't trigger anything. We just got killed by the A3 there, so that kind of sucks. Well, there's no way for us to bring her back, so I'm just gonna try to one-shot this whole team here. And there you go. Anyways, let's carry on. All right, let's try against this team here. Same kind of situation. We got Sifi here. Maybe we'll go second. And then we'll try to strip off these buffs here from Maria. Dealing Terminator, it's kind of nice. And all right. Our turn. Ooh, that is nice. The block buffs here is actually quite nice. Block buffs. And triple hit weekend. There we go. Landed. I would say she's more like support. She has no control, right? She doesn't have any control, but she's definitely, the strip is a little bit of control, I guess, but it doesn't really stop them from taking their turns or anything like that. She does have a little bit of control from her revive ability. Let's test her revive if it actually works without having to revive anybody. That's something else too. Nope, it doesn't. So you can't actually use the lockout ability. That would have been nice if we were allowed to use the lockout ability, regardless if we needed to revive anybody or not. That would have been good because it would be a 4-turn revive or a 4-turn, 2-turn lockout. I mean, in a pinch, this is usable, right? But in this case, it doesn't work. So that's a little bit of a bummer there. But yeah, I don't think you can't bring her in as like a control champion because this relies on your team being dead. And just having a strip doesn't really stop them from still taking their turn and doing lots of damage to you and all that stuff. Her A1 doesn't really do a lot of damage. It just places weaken, which is still good, but it's just, not super impactful, I think. So like we're trying to kill this, Laz here. Okay, we killed the Laz, right? But somebody like Empress with the A3 there just strips all that stuff and it doesn't require accuracy or anything like that. Well, I mean, he requires accuracy to do a bunch of other stuff, but to take off the stone skin, it doesn't require accuracy. So, but he is a mythical and all that. So let's test it out against this team. Why not? But she does seem like a good overall champion. Definitely good overall champion. But I think her general role is not going to be like super well defined, I think. Just a general good support champion. Brings a lot to the table. I think we can kill some of this stuff. Nope, we can't. Oof. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Can't. Ugh. Yeah, so even though like we had Stone Skin and Supersonic, she's still supposed to, we got her set up to go first, or not. If not go first, at least try to cut in and go first, and then get her strip going. But honestly, you could probably just build her super slow, like maybe like a 6-piece Stone Skin would actually work as well. Build her a bit slower so that the enemy buffs up and does all their stuff, and then make sure she, can come in, take off all their buffs, and then place the block buffs on them. Obviously, this stuff can be cleansed off. It would have been nicer if these were like protected. That would have been really, really nice. But yeah, like I said, overall, she does bring pretty good value. Like her overall kit is quite strong. She doesn't have any healing other than this, but it does require some setup, right? She does passively place this, which is nice, and there's no cooldown and stuff like that. But it would have been nice to see some kind of healing, or maybe if the A1 was like a leech or something, that would have been pretty cool. Yeah, let's test her out in a not arena, but let's test her out in Hydra. That's going to be one of the good spots where she can probably play pretty well because she's a reviver that also brings quite a bit of additional benefit, right? With the decreased defense and the block buff. So I mean, you can just straight replace Ugo here and then put in Venalicia, and that would be just a massive improvement. Like her compared to Ugo is just like a massive improvement. She brings the revive as well. She also brings like Pain Link. In this case, you don't even need like Sulfurion for a reviver. You can just bring somebody else that potentially just deals more damage, for example. So let's say, yeah, let's say for example, I leave my Ugo in here, and then we'll just run this team. Where is she? There she is. Okay, so let's run this and let's see how it goes. I think it's going to be about 350 million damage team. I think we just ran this earlier in the Gaspard showcase. So about 300 million, give or take, about 300 million. So we'll straight replace Ugo here for Venalicia. Where is she? Venalicia. And then we'll see how well it does. Don't expect a huge power spike, but in terms of like overall playability, it's probably really easy to play, especially with 2 revivers here. I mean, this is just, pretty much up for, a little bit of variance, but she also brings the A1 weaken, which Ugo does not bring. So the weaken does add a little bit more damage, right? But the big thing for her is when you're team building, now you don't need the reviver. You don't need the second reviver here that we had. So instead of Sulfurion basically being in here as a reviver, obviously Sulfurion brings a lot of stuff, brings damage, shield, and all that stuff. But now we can just bring in like a real damage dealer and then just, do some extra damage, right? Like for example, we can just bring in Marius, and then, or I'll bring in Thor here. I'll bring in Thor. There you go. So yeah, basically it gives you more flexibility with building out your team, and that's one of the big things with her kit is that it's so well rounded. It has so much stuff in it that for something like Hydra where you need a lot of stuff to build a good team, she's a one-stop shop. She brings a lot, right? AoE decrease defense, block buffs, revive, weaken. She brings a lot. So now it frees up a spot where I can just go full DPS and I'll just bring a Thor, right? For example, and then we'll just see the damage skyrocket here. So she's covering the 1 reviver spot, and then it's great for full auto teams, right? So we'll go from 300 to 380. Thor's pitching at 100 extra million damage, right? So if we discard that, I think we can go even higher than this. We can do it one more time here for the cameras. Well, this time it failed. But Sulfurion by himself would definitely have a chance to fail as well. We are playing Nightmare difficulty. Let's try again. Let's see if we can best 380 million. I got 363. She's the only one bringing decreased defense here and the block buffs. And then we are supporting 3 damage dealers here as well. What if you brought in Sulfurion again, just for comparison's sake? Let's do this. What if you bring in Sulfurion here with the 3 damage dealers? Sulfurion does bring damage, but he doesn't bring in the decreased defense. Yeah, you can kind of see here Sulfurion brings in 30 million damage by himself from the HP burns. Anyways, guys, you guys get the picture here. Basically, her kit has so many things in it. It makes building teams out a lot easier, especially when you need tons of debuffs, tons of buffs, and then you need just general support abilities. Now, she's not going to bring any offense herself, unfortunately. Not like somebody like Sulfurion that brings damage and revives. But that just kind of means Sulfurion's just a crazy champion. But she also brings relevant debuffs that kind of boost the damage of your overall team, especially for Hydra. She's going to be really, really good. And she does have some use in Arena as well. And she's going to be great in just general wave content. So anyways, that's going to be the showcase here for Venalicia. She's a really, really solid support. I think her kit is awesome. Brings a lot, but she is missing some key attributes. Like she's missing some control. She can't really control waves that well. Her A2 doesn't activate this unless you have somebody dead, which is a little bit bad because this means that it's a reactive ability. You can't really use it proactively. So she's generally probably more of a, tankier option that you probably want to build. She doesn't have real healing in her kit. She has some conditional healing here, but it requires getting hit first or some setup first. So she does have some negatives, and obviously accuracy in all battles it's a good aura, but sometimes you just want speed and all that. But yeah, she's a good champion, good base stats overall, and she's definitely a very strong carry, especially if you get her early on. Very strong kit, but not the perfect champion or anything like that. Don't want to like go crazy hype on her or anything, but definitely a solid option if you guys draw her. So anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this showcase. Do you guys have Venalicia already? How are you guys enjoying her? How do you guys build her out? What do you guys think? What kind of comments do you guys have about her? Positive, negative? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching until the end. Appreciate your time. I'll see you guys in the next video.